most Canadian thing you can do at the moment, have a Tim Hortons. Hey guys, I hope you're doing well. This is 2026. We're in Toronto experiencing our second snowfall. And like always, this is an amazing experience. A lot has changed since my last video. In the past year, I've had a job, lost it, found another one, lost that one too, and now I'm working again. We moved, we started school, and life has been moving quite fast. So YouTube sort of had to take a back seat. It's the first weekend of the new year, and we usually do our groceries on the weekends. But I didn't really want to make this video just on groceries. In this video, I'll be sharing 6 things I genuinely wish I would have known before moving to Canada. Advices that I feel would have saved me a lot of money, time, and a lot of stress. If you're short on time, feel free to skip ahead on this video. But if you want to hang around, do some grocery shoppings with me, see how Toronto looks in the morning with the snow falling, stick around and then we'll get into the advice. Thank you to everyone who has been subscribing to my channels. I mean, knowing that I'm not very active, but now that I subscribe, it means a lot to me, keeps me motivated. Even in this weather, you can actually see people running, which is amazing. That's something you don't get in Dhaka, right? That's what I really love about Toronto. Whoa, okay. Almost fell. Hi, just a double.
What size?
Small. This is the most Canadian thing you can do at the moment. Have a Tim Hortons. Keeps you warm. Get your berries, carrots, tortillas, bread. That's something that we have back home. Cottage cheese. Yogurt. Over here. Hello? Where are you from? Oh, nice to meet you. Bangladesh. I don't need a bag. Where are you going? Are you going all the way over there? Wow, everything is covered. Just a disclaimer, all of these points I'm mentioning them on a surface level. I will make an in-depth video on all of these points as I get the time, but hopefully these points make you aware of things you should or should not be doing as you land in Canada or even your initial days in Canada. So point number 1, take the free newcomer services offered by the government of Canada. So as you get your PR file approved and your confirmation of residence or COPR in hand, you will be able to get in touch with employment agencies that are appointed by the government of Canada to help you transition your life over here. If you want to know how to exactly do that, watch this video because you will need to register with them beforehand. Why should you be registering with them? Number 1, they help you tailor your resume. On screen, you'll see what my resume looked like when I first arrived in Canada and how it looks now. It took me at least 2 months to understand what the Canadian format is and what Canadian employers typically look for. So there isn't a perfect resume format because it all depends on the recruiter shortlisting for that position. but at least you'll know what you must include and what to leave out. So this is the mistake I made. I believed in the format that had worked for me back in Bangladesh, and because of this, I lost 2 valuable months applying with a resume that wasn't contextually correct. Number 2, they help you connect with employers through hiring events and their internal postings. So the benefit of working with an employment agency is that they host frequent in-person hiring events that are exclusive to their registered clients. This exclusivity is great because it puts you directly in front of employers, helping you skip a large part of the online filtering process. The hiring process in Canada or globally anywhere can be strange, especially if you're applying online. Employers therefore rely on word of mouth or external screening methods to find the ideal candidates. So I didn't really value this because I was told that hiring events tend to be overcrowded, so I didn't really give them a shot. Number 3, they help you prepare for job interviews. Okay, so you have your resume tailored and polished, you have an upcoming interview, but you don't know how Canadian interviews are conducted or what employers are looking for when they ask you questions like, tell me about yourself, why do you want to work here? I lost a great opportunity in my second month in Canada because I wasn't well prepared for that interview. These agencies actually pair you up with an employment counselor to help you succeed. And here's something you should know. When you land a job, these agencies are able to bank on your success to ask for more funding from the government of Canada for their program. So it's a win-win for both of you. Point number 2, make driving license your first priority and have a separate budget just for that process. So depending on which province you live in, I can only speak for Ontario, you really need to make it a mission to get your driving license in the first few months of you arriving to Canada. Because in those first few months, you wouldn't be as busy as you would be once you find a job. But irrespective of that, what I really don't like about this entire process is the fact that the place where you're going to be giving your exam or the drive test centers, they expect you to bring your own car, and for that you would actually need to rent a car or get a car from your friend. But if you're a new immigrant and you don't really know people over here, you won't be, it's not going to be that easy, right? So renting a car typically costs you about $150 to up to $300 depending on the location where you take the exam. And if you fail, you don't even get that money back. And this is something I didn't know before I landed, nor did I prioritize as I landed here. I didn't really budget for the entire license exam procedure, leading me to focus on looking for work so that I could eventually have that extra money, and I had to put off getting my driving license. On the other side, because it's Toronto, you don't really need a car to get around, so you kind of get used to not having one, which is good. But on the other hand, it's not good because as you don't prioritize it, you keep it off and it keeps being delayed. So all in all, if you're a new driver or even experienced one, this will be a tedious process. But here's the most important thing. Set aside at least 1,500 Canadian dollars for the entire procedure. Point number 3, be prepared to be unemployed for the next 6 to 9 months as you land in Canada. And the reason why I'm saying this is that so that you bring enough runway money to support you and your family for those months that you're not having an income. So taking into account that you're coming here as a permanent resident, and by IRCC's requirement, you're expected to bring a certain amount. And this amount is heavily under budgeted. Because the amount is based on an average Canadian expenditure, it does not take into account the city that you will be living on. And that matters a lot. For example, rent in Toronto and Vancouver is significantly higher than most other cities in Canada, meaning that if you only take into account IRCC's estimate, you could easily run out of money and be forced into desperate decisions. Let's say IRCC's requirement for a couple is around $17,000. In reality, once you account for the first and last month's rent, TTC passes, groceries, winter gear, utilities, and other living costs, or even getting a license, in cities like Toronto or Vancouver, that amount can disappear within the first few months, especially if you don't land a job immediately. And as you run out of your settlement money, you start making survival decisions instead of strategic decisions. So what should you do? Build a bigger budget than the minimum amount that's required by IRCC. Research the average rent, transit, groceries, utilities, license fees, and the lifestyle costs in the city you are planning to live in, not just the IRCC estimate. Point number 4, don't sacrifice a good location for cheaper accommodation. So we all know that location is everything. And the benefits of a good location means that everyone is going to want them. So naturally the prices will be high. As opposed to locations where accommodation isn't as good, but the prices are cheaper. That's where we all start looking first, right? But what does define a good location? So the definition of a good location can change based on your lifestyle and whether or not if you have a car. But the car factor is something we'll talk about in a different video. But in all cases, the one common factor is the time and effort it takes to get to the places you need to go from your home. And that's where people often underestimate how important location really is. Let me tell you what we did. We made the mistake of prioritizing cheaper rent over location during our initial months in Canada. We thought we were being smart, saving $300 to $400 a month by renting a place that was further away from everything. And to be honest, it felt like a win at that time, but we paid that money anyway, just in a different way. We paid it through time, frustration, and exhaustion. In our experience, what really happened with us was that everything we needed, groceries, job fairs, interview locations, even the nearest service Ontario was always like 30 to 90 minutes away. We would spend 2 to 3 hours a day just on commuting. And in winter, this really feels longer. It got to a point where it wasn't physically tiring, it was mentally draining because you're constantly feeling everything is just out of reach. Now, if I could go back, I would tell myself, pay the extra $200 to $300 and rent near a subway station or a grocery store because yes, it's more rent, but it saves you time, hassle, and eventually more money. And I get it. In the beginning, you don't know where you'll be working or studying, or even where your friends or community will be. Everything feels temporary, but that's even more reason to stay connected. Because when you're closer to the city, closer to the transit, you have more flexibility and access to opportunities, especially in those early months when you're still figuring things out. So if it comes down to choosing between a cheaper rent in a disconnected area or a slightly more expensive place that's well connected, choose the one with better connectivity. Yes, affordability is important, but not at the cost of time, energy, and access. And if you're lucky enough to find both in one place, that's great. But if not, don't make the same mistake we made. Trust me, it'll make your first year in Canada just a little easier, and that's something you'll thank yourself later on. Point number 5, customer service is better than no job. Here's something no one tells you. The Canadian job market is built on experience and reference checks, not just on degrees, because everyone is sort of educated here. So when you land here, if your dream job doesn't show up in the first 2 to 3 months, don't wait. Take a customer service role, even part-time. Work at Walmart, be a security guard, do weekend shifts at a call center. Why? Because now you're building a Canadian resume. You're learning how customers behave, you're learning how managers think, how to speak up, how to report issues, how to build rapport, and even how to say no politely. It's better than sitting at home applying to 50 jobs online with no feedback. I know people who work survival jobs for 6 months and then use that experience to land full-time roles in offices. Don't think of these jobs beneath you, think of them as stepping stones, because in Canada, everything is connected. Your first job leads to your second, and that one leads to you having a well-established career. Point number 6, consider getting a Canadian education or certification. So this may sound like a lot, going back to school for many of us, especially those who already have a bachelor's or a master's degree from back home. The idea of going back to your school in your early 30s or 40s feels like taking a step back. But hear me out. Being a permanent resident or a citizen of Canada, you're eligible to apply for grants and government-funded loans that can cover not just your tuition, but also your living expenses while you study. In Ontario, this program is called OSAP, or the Ontario Student Assistance Program. And here's the beauty of it. If you qualify for OSAP, you might receive a combination of non-repayable grants and low-interest loans. For many people, this covers rent, groceries, transportation, and more, making it possible to go to school without having a full-time work on the side. In my case, I didn't even know this was an option until months later, and by then I already lost time trying to figure out how to make things work. So if you're thinking of getting a Canadian credential anyway, this is a golden opportunity. Now I know what you might be thinking. Will this piece of paper actually make a difference? Yes, and here's why. Canadian employers don't just look at your education to see what you studied. They look at it to see if you've adapted to the Canadian system, if you're able to learn something new, and if you're serious about your career here. Even a 6-month college certificate signals to them that you're not just here to get by, you're here to invest in yourself and grow. And the best part, many of these programs offer co-op opportunities or field placements, so you end up getting Canadian experience while being a student. It's a smart way to start building your resume without having to explain a long employment gap. If you're strategic about it and you pick a program that aligns with your background or your future goal, this could be the shortcut you didn't know you needed. So don't brush off the idea of going back to school just because you're too old or too experienced. Canada doesn't care about your age, it cares about your ability to learn, adapt, and contribute. And if the funding is available and the door is open, why not walk through it? Bonus point, and this one falls more on the philosophical side, don't compare your journey to someone else's. Look, I'll be honest, this one is easier said than done. You'll land in Canada, do everything right, and then open Instagram or what's more common these days, LinkedIn, and see someone who've already arrived 2 months ago already posting. Started a new job at XYZ company. You'll hear stories of people who got that driver's license in the 2 weeks of them landing, found a new basement in a great location, or somehow cracked the job market before their PR card even arrived. And when that happens, the first thing you'll do, even without realizing, is question your own journey. You'll start asking, what am I doing wrong? Why is it even working out for me? Maybe I'm not even cut out for Canada. But here's what I learned. Everyone's circumstances are different. Maybe they had a cousin who gave them a place to stay. Maybe they had Canadian education or years of remote work experience with Canadian clients. Maybe their field is high in demand, or maybe, just maybe, they got lucky. That doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. You've already done the hard part. You made it here. You crossed the ocean, packed your life into a couple of suitcases, and stepped into a country where everything from how to open a bank account to how to do grocery shopping feels different. That takes courage. That takes strength. And sure, maybe things are slower for you. Maybe it's been 5 months and you're still figuring things out. Maybe you're doing a part-time job you never imagined doing just to cover rent. That doesn't mean you failed. It just means your timeline is different. That's it. And your success, whenever it comes, it will be yours and yours to share with your loved ones. That's what I wanted to end on. If this video even helped you out a little bit, consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. I'll be posting more content just like this to help you navigate this journey better. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.